Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you send us, could be articles, notes, briefings, you name it, and we really dig in.
Yep, we pull out the key stuff, the important details, maybe some surprising bits, and just try to give you the clearest possible picture fast.
And today we're diving into a set of news articles and a briefing doc you shared. It's all focused on two pretty serious incidents in South Carolina. Happened over the 2025 Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. So our goal here is basically to comb through this material, pull out the main facts as they're reported, get a sense of the timeline,
Right.
and just make sure you got a good handle on what happened based only on what's in these specific sources. We're looking at Little River and Myrtle Beach.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The timing is key, right? Memorial Day weekend.
Exactly.
And these sources point out these coastal spots in South Carolina, like Little River, Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
They're usually packed, lots of tourists, holiday stuff going on.
Right. Little River is, about 20 miles or so northeast of Myrtle Beach, the sources say. So nearby.
Yeah. So that's kind of the backdrop. Busy holiday weekend.
Definitely. That context, more people around is worth keeping in mind as we get into the details from the reports. So, where should we start? Little River?
Please, let's do that one first. So the sources, what do they say about when this went down and where exactly?
Okay, so the reports put it on Sunday night, May 25th, around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
And the Horry County Police, HCPD, they responded to what they initially called an apparent shooting incident. This was on Watson Avenue in Little River.
Watson Avenue. Did the sources describe it at all? Like, what kind of area is it?
Yeah, they mention it's mostly residential, but it does have a few boarding businesses there, too. And it's near a boat dock right there by the Intracoastal Waterway.
Huh. Sounds pretty quiet usually.
Yeah.
So a big disruption. What about the impact, the casualties? What did the reports say initially?
Well, Horry County Fire Rescue, they reported transporting at least 11 people to local hospitals. That was by about 10:20 p.m. Sunday night.
Okay, 11 transported.
But, this is interesting, the authorities also got reports, and this is in the sources, that more people were showing up at hospitals, like in their own cars.
Oh, wow. So that initial 11 might not even be the total number injured?
Exactly. It really suggests the final count could be, higher.
Did the sources give any breakdown on the injuries for those first 11?
They did. Specified that 10 of them had gunshot wounds. The 11th person had some kind of injury, but it wasn't from gunfire. The sources said it was unknown.
And their conditions? Any word?
Not immediately on everyone, but there was a Monday morning update mentioned in the sources. It said, the worst of the injured are in critical but stable condition.
Critical but stable. Okay. So how did the police handle the scene? Did they say anything to the public about safety right away?
Yeah, about 90 minutes after the shooting, according to the reports, the police put out a statement. They said they believed it was an isolated incident.
Isolated.
Okay. And they specifically said there is no risk to the community at this time. But they also told people to stay clear of the area while they worked. Standard stuff.
Right. Keep people away. So an isolated incident.
Yeah.
But the investigation was, what? Still going on?
Described as active and ongoing in the sources. And initially, right after it happened, the reports didn't have any details on, say, suspects or why it happened. No motive mentioned.
Okay, but then you mentioned that Monday morning update. That seemed to add a really key piece of info, right? Something significant.
It really did. According to that update in the sources, the police investigation pointed towards the shooting actually resulting from an altercation, specifically during a private gathering.
A private gathering? Where?
On a charter boat during a Memorial Day weekend event.
Whoa, okay. A private party on a charter boat. That's quite different from just shots fired on a residential street.
Yeah, it definitely changes the context, doesn't it?
So why is that detail so important based on how the sources presented it?
Well, it seems important because it gives a reason for the violence, potentially. Not random, but stemming from some kind of dispute within this private group on the boat.
Right. And that fits with the police saying it was isolated pretty early on.
Exactly. It also maybe explains why the initial calls might have just mentioned the street. That's where the responders arrived, right? Before they pieced together the whole boat situation.
Makes sense. Wasn't there also something else mentioned? A separate incident with an officer?
Yeah, tucked into the reports. A North Myrtle Beach police officer. Totally unrelated call, apparently. Was near the area at a marina about 3 miles away.
And?
Accidentally shot himself in the leg while responding to that other call.
Oh, my goodness. So completely separate, but happening right around the same time and area while all this other chaos is unfolding?
Pretty much. Just another layer to the emergency response that night. The sources say he was hospitalized, stable condition, and that shooting is also under investigation, but by North Myrtle Beach PD.
Okay, wow. So that's the Little River incident Sunday night, stemming from a private boat party altercation. Now, let's switch gears. The sources also cover another event, right? The night before, Saturday, May 24th, in Myrtle Beach.
Yep, that's the other one detailed here. This one happened later Saturday night, around 11:50 p.m. Eastern.
And the location?
North Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach. Busy area. The sources say police closed off a section from 8th Avenue up to 16th Avenue for the investigation.
And the human cost here. What did the sources report?
Tragically, one person was killed in this incident, and 11 other people were injured.
One fatality. Did the sources identify the person who died?
Yes, they did. He was identified as Jarius Davis, just 18 years old, from Bennettsville, South Carolina.
So young. What triggered this incident, according to the reports?
The sources describe it starting with a disturbance involving multiple individuals. Just, some kind of fight or argument escalating.
Okay, a public disturbance. And this seems different from Little River because there was police intervention during the event.
That's a key difference reported, yes. An observing police officer saw what was happening, intervened, and discharged their weapon in response to the escalating situation.
And Jarius Davis, he was fatally injured during that police intervention.
That's what the sources state, yes.
Did the sources include any official comments on the officer's actions?
They did quote a couple of people. The Horry County Deputy Coroner, Tamara Willard, noted the officer's prompt actions may have prevented further casualties.
Prevented further casualty.
By quickly confronting the threat. That's the quote. And the Myrtle Beach mayor, Brenda Bethune, also commended the officer, suggesting their actions might have stopped an even bigger tragedy.
So officials framing the officer's intervention as necessary to stop a wider threat, even with the fatal outcome. What was the scene like for bystanders?
Described as widespread chaos and panic. Eyewitness accounts mentioned hearing the shots, seeing people just run, seeing blood. Sounds terrifying, honestly, right on Ocean Boulevard.
Yeah, absolutely. How did the police department follow up, besides closing the street?
Well, the Myrtle Beach Police Department responded right away, secured the scene. And the sources confirmed the department is doing an internal review of the officer-involved shooting part, which is, pretty standard.
Right, standard procedure, and the overall investigation. Like Little River, still ongoing.
Also ongoing, yes. MBPD is working with SLED, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And again, like Little River, the sources state no motive for that initial disturbance has been released yet.
Have the police asked the public for help on this one, too?
They have. The reports mention a call for anyone with info or maybe video footage to come forward.
And the community reaction, how is that described?
The sources use the word dismay. They quote Representative Nancy Mace expressing devastation, saying the community stands against this kind of violence. So if we step back and look at both incidents as reported in your sources, you've got Little River on Sunday night. Looks like it started from a fight at a private boat party. Multiple gunshot injuries, no fatalities reported there.
Right. And then Saturday night, Myrtle Beach. A public disturbance on a busy street escalates. One young man killed during police intervention, 11 others injured.
Exactly. Back-to-back nights, Memorial Day weekend, nearby coastal towns. Both incidents resulting in multiple casualties, big law enforcement, and EMS responses.
And ongoing investigations for both.
What these sources really give you is that immediate picture. The initial facts reported, how emergency services reacted, the first assessments coming out from police trying to understand what happened and reassure people, all based on what was known right then.
So recapping what we pulled directly from the sources for you. 2 distinct violent events. Multiple injuries across both. 1 fatality in Myrtle Beach, specific times and locations pinned down, those early details about the police response.
Including the assessment of the Little River incident, as starting on that private boat, and the details around the officer firing their weapon in Myrtle Beach.
Right, and the fact that both investigations are very much active, this stack of sources gives you that snapshot of the immediate aftermath based only on this material.
Yeah, they really lay out those initial facts, mobilization of help, and the first official words on what happened.
So thinking about what this all means, based strictly on what's in these reports, when you see details like the Little River incident being tied to a private gathering on a charter boat, or the Myrtle Beach one starting as a disturbance involving multiple individuals, what does this kind of reporting focusing on those early official tastes tell us about maybe the challenges authorities face in sorting out the reality of these chaotic situations really quickly, right as they're unfolding?